So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is other Ryan here.
Hey everyone, Razbowski here.
What's going on, guys? Dorko here.
And welcome back to once again another episode of Theory Thursday. And in this one, we're going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, because with Five Nights at Freddy's 4 and the franchise currently, there's not a whole lot of mysteries lingering, is there? Most of them have actually been solved. And so because of this, we're actually just going to be talking about things that are happening for the future of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and that currently seems to be focusing a lot on the film. Now, as a lot of you guys know, Gil Keenan on Twitter is actually tweeting a lot about this, and that's because he is directing the film, and we're seeing a lot of new things on his end, and it's getting quite interesting in terms of what is being revealed. But for this episode, we want to actually speculate what we want to see in the actual Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So we'll start with you, Ryan. What do you actually want to see in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie?
So we've done previous videos on this. Each one of us have actually done previous videos talking about the tweets and talking about the future of Scott. But we haven't actually said what we actually want to see in the film. And I personally, I guess, because we've discussed this, we've said that basically the movie has to kind of go towards the fans, but also new people to the series and new people to, well, not to horror, but, you know, the horror public, if you know what I mean. So I think I'd like to see some, obviously there's got to be a scare factor in there, because most horror films aren't really story driven. They're more about the jump scares and you know, there's always like a little plot behind it, but it doesn't really matter because it's just about, I mean, Paranormal Activity, for example, what is the story there? It doesn't really make sense, but yeah, like, it'll be interesting to see the lore behind it. But I would like to see, I don't know, I think he's gonna have to go back to the original establishment, if you know what I mean, where it all started, and then maybe throughout the film he'll do flashbacks of certain bits, stuff like that.
I think if Scott is going to be working closely on it, because I know Gil said that he does want him involved quite heavily, is I think if he can try and incorporate flashbacks to the original place, maybe if that's I don't know, you could have that in black and white quite easily. It might look pretty cool. But the main thing that I want from it, from a horror fan point of view, is I want it to be scary. I want that atmosphere. I want, because it could be really, really good. Because depending on where it's set, it could just be incredibly creepy. And if it does take it from the point, and we do see the Purple Man in it, they could make him really creepy by like never showing his face and stuff. And then when the jump scares do come in, as long as I don't want too many jump scares, because it kind of ruins it. You want the suspense, you want the build-up, like Five Nights at Freddy's 4 and 1. They were more suspenseful. You didn't know when they were coming, and you could sense that always something was coming towards you, but you just didn't know when it was happening, and that I want that. And obviously, the lore has got to be dank. We've got to have some choice lore in there. It's got to be juicy, it's got to be tasty, it's got to keep us interested. And we might even see some new stuff, which will be really interesting as well.
The only problem is that the lore can't be too complicated like the games. I don't want it to be complicated, because I know reviewers will be like, oh, I don't like this film, it's scary, but the story doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because, you know, people who haven't understood the game as well, they're not going to know what it's about. So I want him to stick with the main characters. I don't really want to see, I don't know, like the toy animatronics. He can leave those out, I think, and just other complications as well. I just don't want too much to be in the film, to be fair. But
you've got. It's so good. Carry on.
I do want the main story, though. I want the main story of the Purple Man killing the kids, possessing the animatronics. But I don't want, like, you know, complications to that.
I was actually going to say, like, you got to think about it from a movie's point of view. Like, there's a budget involved, so the fact that you know there's not going to be too much, like, having so many animatronics like that would probably cost a lot of money in the budget. And I mean, I don't know. They obviously they have to think about, you know, production, sets, props, and stuff like that. So I know it can't get too complicated, like you say, I guess.
Well, I think one of the advantages that Five Nights at Freddy's the movie has is it doesn't really have to try too hard to advertise, because pretty much everyone knows about it. And you got to think back to things like the Blair Witch Project and things like that. That film had a very low budget, and its turnover was like 100,000%, because it went for like internet marketing, which is next to free. Whereas usually with these big blockbuster films, hundreds of millions are spent on advertising. So for that, I'm kind of hoping that there's more of a focus with the budget put on the film. And something actually in terms of the plot I want to see built on is, a lot of you guys are speaking about the sort of genuine gist of what we know, but the games really, they only give us a perspective of pretty much one character, which is the Night Guard. We We need to know more about the night guy and also the side characters, because if it's going to go back to the original locations, we can expect to possibly see Fredbear again. Maybe we'll know more about these kids, their motives, because we don't really know a whole lot of their motives. We know they're bullies, but why? We need to know maybe this kid has some kind of weird background. There's a whole lot of things that still need to be answered in terms of why the things are happening the way they are. And I think the movie can definitely do that, because that won't be too much of a complex plot. And I think any viewers of any background could probably really appreciate that, because it would help kind of immerse those into the story.
Yeah, it would be nice to see the murderer's motive, like why did he kill the kids in the first place, because we still don't know why Purple Man killed the kids in the first place, because there must be a reason why he's done it, unless he's, complete psychopath.
But I mean, even still, there always has to be some kind of motive, maybe some desire or something accomplished on their behalf. Excuse me, and that's what's going to make it interesting.
The good thing about the being the film is, because I know myself and Doc talked about this before, is Scott's only had a limited amount of time to tell a storyline in the game, whether it's during a minute phone call or during say a 30-second mini game. There's only little things he's been able to say. Like if you put all of that together, all the knowledge from the games, that probably only runs for about 10 minutes maximum. So after that, then you've got, like, say, another 120 odd minutes to fill in a film. So they're going to have to create a lot more on top of what we already know lore wise. Obviously, you've got to build the story in the background up, but I think we could find out a lot of really interesting things. Hopefully it doesn't move away from the storyline we know and love too much, but I'm all for new stuff, man. I'm all for new stuff, because it'll give us new theories, it'll give us new things, and as long as it sticks with the traditional sense that Scott's created for it, and it doesn't turn weird and put superheroes and shit in it. But you know what I mean. Well,
I think absolutely, going back to, like, obviously what we're talking about, they've got to satisfy everyone from the horror side and the Five Nights at Freddy's side. I reckon it's going to be done in a way where maybe it's like a camera angles, if you know what I mean. So for example, like the kid that we were just talking about, say if loads of people are saying that purple guy might be this guy's dad. So it'd be good if there was like a scene in a house maybe where the kid goes off to play, and in the background you see like the purple uniform hanging off the door, maybe, because maybe if we don't see the face of the killer, I want like hints to be dropped in the back, because I know that us in particular, we're going to be looking for Easter eggs, like story-wise and game-wise. I mean, most of the Five Nights at Freddy's community will, but
absolutely,
yeah. The story, I don't think the story will go too off track with the original games as well, because Scott's working with him as well. He tweeted saying that Scott is FNAF and he's going to be working with him 100%, so it's not going to, spoil it for us, I don't think. I think we're still going to have a great film, because Scott's there to back him up just in case he's in trouble.
I think one thing I'm looking forward to as well is the fact that I think I saw it was either a tweet or something on the Design and Trend website. It actually mentioned that there was going to be more of an outside look at the whole world of the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, if you will. And I think seeing outside of the establishment whilst you're inside also is very crucial.
Yes.
Because it will give new perspectives on events that before we were very restricted to, and we had... Well, everyone had to experience the same thing the same way.
Yeah.
Kind of, we were in the office, and that's all we ever saw of the establishment. But seeing it in the daytime is something we've never really properly seen before, other than these mini-games.
I'd love to see, I'd just love to see it in in and everybody around the animatronics and stuff.
Yes, because there's so much that they can do with that, isn't there? You can start to see the animatronics might spark. Anything can really happen. Some slight malfunction. There are so many possibilities. I think seeing it in the daytime, maybe seeing even the parents coming to collect these kids, and maybe someone getting a bit, suspicious what's going on here. I think that's what will start to create a more deeper story. And wow, I think I'd love that. Really, I'd love to see something like that.
It would be creepier as well, because if you see the animatronics like actually fully functioning, like. If you, I've never been to Chuck E. Cheese or anything like that, but having a look at the animatronics, like just in little videos on YouTube or whatever, they're quite creepy. So seeing them alive and active active during the day, and they're going around serving pizza or whatever they're doing, or chatting to kids or singing on the stage, having them sing on the stage could be really quite interesting, especially if you get that singing during the night. So you see the contrast. So you have them singing the same song, but obviously it's in a dark environment. So it would be a complete contrast, and it would be so much creepier that way.
I've got something to ask as well, because we know there's been some voice actors from videos, voice actors for the animatronics. Do you think these animatronics are going to be voiced by people like the Chuck E. Cheese characters have different voices and they can speak and go, "Hey kids,"
Well, I think if that was to be in place, because one thing which always had me curious, and I actually picked up on this in one of my first theory videos, was the fact that whilst Freddy in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 has this music box, when we actually see him in the trailer, he's there singing into the microphone. Yeah, but we never actually hear him singing as such. So it's quite clear that these guys may have some kind of speech service within them.
Yeah, we do hear Foxy as well, though, throughout the nights as well, don't we?
I think subtle. I think subtle speaking. I don't want literally like a Toy Story style thing. I think that would absolutely destroy the whole motive. I think nice simple things in case they actually incorporate Springtrap, which would then be even more interesting. But yeah, it's just hard to determine right now, isn't it? Because of course we don't know the year it's going to be set or any of that. I mean, it does say Fredbear and Friends, but there's a strong possibility that might be actually the same era as this Springtrap character, which is even more startling, really.
Like we said, though, it could be set in different timelines. So, you know, if he wants to fit the whole story in just one film, not to say he's going to make more or anything, but if he wants to get it all fitted in one, I think time lapses would be a great way to tell the whole story. Yeah,
flashbacks, maybe even some flash forwards. That might work to an extent. Yeah. I think that'd all possibly hold some.
I mean, the film could start like at the end with the establishment burning down, and like it could be like 30 years before kind of thing, on the screen and shown back to what happened, pretty much.
The events leading up to it. Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
I think it's definitely safe to assume that they're going to leave it the end of it open-ended, because this is Hollywood we're talking about. It's been a very successful game, so they'll leave it open-ended for some kind of sequel, and they'll probably
they want to. I mean, judging from the response, that's just classic Hollywood. I mean, with something as big as this, it's got millions of fans. Of course, they want to see how it does at the box office. They want to measure the turnover, things like that. And I'm pretty sure if it does go successful, they will continue this one way or another. Yeah, like, I think that goes. That's inevitable, really.
I'm pretty sure he did tweet if the film was successful, he might make more. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see that. No.
I didn't see that. No.
He said
I would honestly expect that almost to be the case.
It's just a given. Any successful film, if it makes money, money, they're going to make it. It's a business.
Even if it is bad.
So I was hoping you wasn't going to say that word. I mean, if it goes all paranormal activity, I think then we have a problem. But
if I was 27, chapter.
I think 1 or 2 will be nice. I think maybe a sequel could work if the story wants to go too complex. But I think for now, the story should remain kind of solid. It should hold its own, and I think it should allow people, both fans of the series and not, to really get into it.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to make it good though, because he's got a lot of pressure. He's got the pressure to do it. You know, it's not. He knows that he's got millions of fans who are going to watch this, so he's got to make it good.
He's very active on Twitter as well, which shows he's really trying to keep the kind of hype going. So yeah. And there we have it, guys. So hopefully you did enjoy this episode of Theory Thursday. This one was, of course, discussing what we want to actually see inside the Five Nights at Freddy's movie trailer. Be sure to comment down below also what you want to see as well.
And if you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like rating down below? And if you're new to any of our channels, why not subscribe for more interesting videos like this and also some gameplays.
So thank you very much for watching the video, guys. And we'll, of course, see you on the next one on all of our channels. Goodbye,
guys.
Bye.
Want to see even more content from us?
Consider liking and subscribing to ensure you'll see all content in the foreseeable future.
And hey, why not check out our past 2 videos?